You ever get that feeling that something's coming for you? Not danger, not doom, something else. A message. A whisper that keeps circling your mind, tapping at the edge of your thoughts, refusing to wait its turn. You try to shake it off, pretend it's nothing, but it keeps coming back, louder, clearer, until you can almost hear it breathing beside you. It's not a coincidence. No, this message was meant for you. It's been crawling through time, through chaos, through every sleepless night you thought no one noticed, just to get here before Monday morning. Because when Monday hits, everything changes. Urgency. Now that's a word people love to pretend they understand. They throw it around like it's motivation, like it's caffeine for the soul. But urgency, real urgency, isn't polite. It doesn't knock. It doesn't ask for permission. It storms in, flips your life upside down, and demands to know what you've been waiting for. It whispers in your ear when you try to rest, laughs when you say later, and stares you down until you can't breathe without feeling its weight. Most people spend their lives waiting for the perfect time, the right day, the right sign, but the truth is, time doesn't wait. It doesn't care about your mood, your comfort, your little list of excuses. Time moves, and urgency, urgency is what keeps you from getting crushed beneath it. You see, there's something strange about the human heart. It beats every second like a clock, ticking down your chances, reminding you that every hesitation, every pause, every breath wasted on maybe tomorrow is one you don't get back. But people don't hear it. They drown it out with noise scrolls, laughs, distractions, anything that keeps them from feeling how fast everything's slipping through their fingers. Urgency is that voice that cuts through the noise, the one that screams, now, not later, not when it's safe, not when it's easy. It's the only thing powerful enough to shake you awake before your dreams rot into regrets. When urgency hits you, it doesn't feel comfortable. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to rattle your bones, make your hands tremble, your mind race, your pulse pound in your ears. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know something inside you is still alive. Because urgency doesn't visit the dead, it visits the ones who are still capable of becoming something. It finds you in your hesitation, in your boredom, in that tiny, miserable space between what you want and what you're too afraid to chase. And it asks one simple question: how much longer are you going to waste? People talk about potential like it's some endless supply, like they can draw from it whenever they please. They don't realize it expires. It fades. It rots the moment you stop feeding it with action. Urgency is the alarm that screams before it's too late, the warning before the light goes out. It tells you there's something waiting on the other side of hesitation, something fierce, something raw, something that doesn't exist for the lazy or the cautious. It's not a feeling you invite. It's a storm that breaks the door because it knows if it doesn't, you'll stay asleep forever. And here's the beautiful, brutal truth. Urgency doesn't care about how ready you feel. Readiness is an illusion. People keep saying, I'll start when I'm ready. They never are. They never will be. Urgency laughs at the word ready. It knows the moment you move, you become ready. Not before. Never before. The act of doing, of leaping, of throwing yourself into the unknown is what makes you prepared. Urgency teaches you that lesson in the most uncomfortable way possible. It rips away the safety nets, burns the bridges behind you, and forces you to either rise or fall. And in that pressure, that chaos, that madness, something extraordinary happens. You wake up. The world rewards the ones who move fast, the ones who don't wait for permission. Because urgency is energy. It feeds momentum. It sparks inspiration. It keeps the fire burning when everything else fades. Every great moment, every miracle, every breakthrough was born out of urgency. The need to act, the refusal to wait, the awareness that if they didn't move now, they might never get the chance again. That's what urgency really is, the quiet realization that tomorrow isn't promised, that opportunity doesn't circle back, that hesitation is the slowest form of death. And when urgency truly grips you, when you finally stop treating it like a threat and start treating it like a lifeline, the world shifts. You stop overthinking, you stop doubting, you stop apologizing for wanting more. You start moving with purpose, breathing with intent, speaking like every word matters, because it does. Everything matters when you understand how little time there is. Urgency strips you of excuses, tears down your comfort, and shows you the truth. No one's coming to save you. No miracle, no sign, no moment of perfect clarity. Just this second, this chance, this heartbeat that could be the last before everything changes. And when you feel that, when you really feel it in your chest, you realize urgency isn't the enemy, it's the invitation. The one that's been waiting at your door, pounding, whispering, begging for you to finally answer before Monday morning comes and takes your chance with it. Procrastination. That sweet little poison. It doesn't come screaming, doesn't kick down the door. No, it slips in quietly, whispering soft lies like, "You've got time. Just one more break. You'll do it later." It's charming, really. It dresses itself up as comfort, as logic, as patience, and before you know it, it's sitting at your table, eating your hours, draining your energy, turning your fire into ash. The most dangerous thing about procrastination, it isn't what it takes. It's what it convinces you to give up willingly. It's the thief that smiles while you hand over your own time. You ever notice how easy it is to delay the important stuff? How you suddenly get motivated to clean, scroll, talk, do anything but the thing that actually matters. That's procrastination's masterpiece. It doesn't just distract you, it disguises itself as productivity. It makes you feel busy while you're standing still. It makes you feel safe while everything that could have been yours quietly slips away. And the saddest part, you don't even hear it leaving. You just wake up one day and realize the opportunity's gone, the door's closed, the moment's over. Divine timing, that's a funny thing. People think it's patient, eternal, forgiving. They say, if it's meant for me, it'll come back. What a joke. Divine timing isn't patient, it's precise. It shows up, knocks once, waits a heartbeat, and if you don't answer, it moves on. It finds someone else who's ready, someone who isn't busy making excuses. The universe doesn't wait for indecision. It rewards movement, boldness, madness. You either seize the moment, or it vanishes like smoke. And procrastination? It's the hand that pushes that moment away while you're too distracted to notice. People love to say they're waiting for the right time. They think that sounds wise, mature, responsible. But there is no right time. There's only now. The present, the messy, imperfect, unpredictable now. Everything else is a fantasy. A lie procrastination feeds you to keep you obedient. You think you're in control because you're planning, preparing, waiting, but you're not in control. You're stalled. You're paused. You're standing on a train track, staring at the lights, telling yourself you'll move when you're ready while the train's already coming. The cruelest part? Procrastination doesn't hurt at first. It's gentle. It lets you feel good about doing nothing. It gives you comfort while it kills you. It's the slow death of passion, the gradual dulling of your hunger, the erosion of everything you could have been. It doesn't destroy your dreams in one swing, it eats them piece by piece until you stop noticing their absence. You convince yourself you're okay, that you'll do it tomorrow, next week, next month, and then one day you realize the tomorrow you were waiting for doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. You traded it for comfort. Faith doesn't live where procrastination grows. Faith needs action, movement, decision. Faith isn't about sitting and hoping, it's about standing up even when you're terrified, even when you don't know what's next. Because the moment you move, even the smallest step, divine timing notices. It turns its head, it leans in, it whispers, there you are. But when you wait, when you delay, when you hesitate, it turns away. It doesn't punish you. It just forgets you exist. Because the world doesn't stop spinning for anyone who's scared to start. And yet, people cling to procrastination like it's safety. They wrap themselves in it. Call it planning, call it balance, call it self-care. But deep down, they know what it is. Fear wearing a mask, fear pretending to be reason. And the only way to break it is to act. Not tomorrow, not later. Now, the second you feel that resistance, that tiny voice saying not yet, that's your signal. That's the exact moment you have to move. Because that's when procrastination is strongest, when it's trying hardest to keep you still. And if you move right then, you break its grip. There's something almost electric about that moment, the shift from waiting to doing. It's messy, it's awkward, it's imperfect, but it's alive. It's the pulse of possibility rushing back into your veins. You feel the tension, the risk, the uncertainty. But beneath it all, there's power. Because when you act, you announce to the world that you're done waiting for permission, done waiting for timing, done waiting for comfort. You claim your place in the chaos. And in that instant, divine timing finds you again. Procrastination kills divine timing, not because time runs out, but because faith does. Every delay drains a little bit of belief, a little bit of magic, until you're left with nothing but excuses and regrets. But the ones who move, who decide, who act, even when it's inconvenient, they bend time. They meet destiny halfway. They don't wait for opportunity. They drag it into existence with their own hands. That's the secret no one tells you. Divine timing doesn't find the patient. It finds the prepared. It finds the daring. It finds the ones who don't wait for the right moment, because they know the right moment only exists after you decide to act. And procrastination, well, it can't survive that kind of madness. Every delay has a cost. People don't like to believe that. They think time is free, endless, merciful. They treat it like air, something they can waste without consequence. But time, oh time, is the most expensive thing you'll ever own. It doesn't send you a bill. It just quietly takes payment in pieces of your life. Every moment you hesitate, every decision you postpone, every dream you shelf for later, you pay for it. Not with money, with potential, with peace, with the version of yourself you could have become if you'd just moved when you had the chance. The cost isn't obvious at first. It hides behind comfort, disguised as rest, disguised as safety. You tell yourself it's fine, that you're being careful, patient, strategic. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right sign. But while you're waiting, the clock is bleeding out. Tick, tick, tick. The sound doesn't change, but the meaning does. Every tick is another opportunity buried, another chance swallowed by hesitation. You don't see it yet, but time is taking something from you. It always does. Delays feel harmless because they don't explode. They decay, slowly, softly, like rot beneath the surface. You think nothing's changed, but inside, something's dying. Your drive, your spark, your hunger, they fade with every moment you choose comfort over action. And one day, you wake up to find you're no longer the person who once dreamed. You've become someone who only remembers dreaming. That's the cost. You lose the version of you who believed it was possible. You trade the fire for ashes. Every delay steals momentum, and momentum once lost takes more than time to rebuild. It takes energy, courage, pain, the kind of pain most people avoid. That's why they keep delaying, thinking they'll start when it feels easier, when life calms down. But it never does. Life doesn't clear the path for you. It waits to see if you'll walk through the storm anyway. And when you don't, it moves on. The world doesn't stop for the hesitant. It rewards the ones who act while everyone else is thinking. The funny thing about delays is how logical they sound in your head. You convince yourself it's the smart thing to do. I'll start after I'm ready. I'll speak when I'm sure. I'll chase it when I have the time. And deep down, you know that's a lie. Because the right moment never comes. The stars never line up. The doors never open by themselves. Every person who ever made something happen did it in chaos, in doubt, in fear. They didn't wait for calm, they built in the storm. Every delay also carries interest, like debt. You push something off today, and tomorrow it costs double. You hesitate once, and the fear grows stronger. You skip one opportunity, and the next one feels smaller. It's never just one delay, it's a pattern, a quiet addiction. You start to think it's who you are. I'm just not ready yet. But that's not truth. That's time collecting payment. And the longer you wait, the higher the price becomes. You can measure the cost of delay by what it takes from your heart. The guilt that comes when you know you could have done more. The regret that crawls in when you see someone else living the life you were too scared to chase. That ache you feel in your chest when you realize the chance is gone. Not because it wasn't meant for you, but because you never showed up for it. That's the cost. It's not dramatic, it's quiet. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It says, you missed it. And you start to understand something cruel. The pain of action lasts a moment, but the pain of delay lasts forever. The sting of failure fades, but the weight of never trying it stays. It haunts. It follows you into every new beginning, whispering that you'll fail again. So why bother? That's how delay becomes destiny. It rewrites your story while you're too distracted to notice. But deep down, you feel it, don't you? That pull, that restlessness that refuses to let you sit still. That's the reminder, the warning. Every delay has a cost, and the price is rising with every breath you waste pretending you've got time. You can feel it in your bones, the moments slipping, the chances fading, the future you're meant to live moving one step further away each time you say, later. That's not just time passing, that's life leaving. Every delay is a trade, and you get to decide what you're willing to lose. Because time will always take something. The only question is whether it takes your fear or your future momentum. It's a strange thing, isn't it? It starts small, almost invisible, like a spark in a dark room. You barely notice it at first, a thought, a step, a decision. But then it grows. It feeds on motion, on effort, on madness. And before you know it, it becomes unstoppable. That's what people don't understand. Miracles don't appear out of thin air. They build quietly, patiently, brick by brick, second by second, until one day everything shifts and everyone calls it sudden. But there's nothing sudden about it. Momentum is what's been working behind the curtain the whole time. The funny thing is, people crave results but run from motion. They want change without chaos, growth without friction, blessings without burden. They pray for miracles, but they don't move. And that's the irony. The miracle doesn't come times because times you're ready. It comes times because times you move even when you're not. Momentum doesn't wait for confidence. It creates it. The second you take that first shaky step, something begins to wake up inside you. You feel it, the pulse, the rhythm, the current pulling you forward. That's the start of everything. See, the world doesn't reward the still. It rewards the ones who start, even if they stumble. Every great story began with someone who didn't know what they were doing, but did it anyway. That's how momentum is born, not in perfection, but in persistence. You trip, you fail, you bleed, and yet you keep going. Every action adds weight. Every choice adds speed. And soon you're no longer pushing, you're being carried. That's when miracles begin to notice you. Not when you sit and wish, but when you move and refuse to stop. Momentum doesn't care how small your effort looks. It doesn't need grand gestures or loud announcements. It feeds on consistency, tiny actions repeated until they echo. You might think no one sees, that it doesn't matter. But momentum sees. The universe sees. Every act of discipline, every moment you choose to keep going instead of quitting, it adds up. It becomes something you can't fake, something real, something magnetic. And eventually, everything around you begins to shift to match your movement. The dangerous part is the pause. That tiny moment when you think, I'll rest just for a bit. Because momentum dies in stillness. The longer you stop, the heavier everything becomes. The weight of doubt creeps in, the noise of fear gets louder, and suddenly the spark you had starts to fade. It's hard to notice until it's almost gone. That's how people lose it, not through failure, but through hesitation. You can't see momentum, but you can feel when it leaves. The silence grows louder, the fire cools, and you start to realize how hard it is to get it back. Momentum is built on trust. Trust that what you're doing matters even when no one claps. That's the test. The world goes quiet when you're building something great, almost as if it wants to see how much you really want it. Most people stop there. They mistake silence for failure. But silence isn't failure. It's momentum's cocoon. It's where transformation happens, unseen, uncelebrated. If you can survive that silence, keep moving through it, something powerful starts to form faith. Not the kind you talk about, the kind you live. Momentum also attracts things you don't expect. The right people, the right timing, the right opportunities, they all show up once you start moving. It's like the universe doesn't trust talkers, it trusts movers. It doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to energy. You can't beg for blessings while standing still. You have to chase them. Show that you're serious, that you're willing to earn the miracle. Because miracles, they don't fall from the sky, they chase momentum. And the truth is, momentum has a mind of its own. Once it starts, it doesn't care if you're tired or scared. It drags you forward. It reshapes you. It burns away your hesitation. your excuses, your doubts. It forces you to become the kind of person who can handle the blessing you've been asking for. That's what people don't see. The movement changes you before the miracle finds you. You don't get what you want until you become someone who can keep it. And momentum is the fire that forges that version of you. But here's the cruel part: you have to start before you feel ready, and you have to keep going when it feels pointless. That's the secret. Momentum doesn't belong to the strongest or the smartest. It belongs to the stubborn, the ones who show up even when everything inside them screams stop, the ones who move while others sleep, the ones who keep swinging long after they should have quit. Because momentum doesn't respond to hope, it responds to hunger. And once it catches you, once it realizes you're not giving up, it starts to carry you faster than you ever imagined, straight toward the miracle that was waiting all along: gratitude. Such a simple word, yet most people don't really feel it. They say thank you with their mouths, but not with their hearts. They look at their lives, count what's missing, and forget what's still here. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything's perfect. It's about realizing that even in the mess, even in the madness, you're still breathing, still fighting, still given another shot to make it right. You see, gratitude doesn't wait for the storm to end. It smiles in the rain, knowing the storm itself is part of the plan. People spend their whole lives chasing what's next, the next win, the next dollar, the next validation. They sprint toward a horizon that never stops moving, and in doing so, they miss the ground beneath their feet. Gratitude slows you down. It forces you to see what you've been stepping over: the tiny victories, the people who stayed, the breath you didn't have to fight for. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and enough into abundance. But it's hard to feel thankful when the world teaches you to crave more, when the noise around you screams that you're behind, that you're not good enough yet, that you need more to be happy. Gratitude is rebellion. It's looking at chaos and saying, I still have something left. It's funny how gratitude works. The more you give it, the more it gives back. It's not magic. It's momentum of the soul. You start focusing on what's right, and suddenly you start seeing more of it. You stop begging for miracles and start realizing they were already there. The sunrise that didn't have to come, the breath that didn't have to reach your lungs, the strength that somehow carried you through the days you thought would break you. Gratitude doesn't just anchor blessings, it multiplies them. The more thankful you are, the less room you leave for fear to live. Most people think gratitude is passive, soft, gentle, quiet. But real gratitude? It's wild. It's powerful. It's the kind that comes after loss, after heartbreak, after pain. It's the kind that says Monday. That word alone makes people sigh, groan, roll their eyes. It's almost become a ritual, hasn't it? Everyone dreading the day that's supposed to represent a beginning. Funny how that works. The world gave you a fresh start, and you turned it into punishment. But Monday was never the enemy. It's a test, a quiet little exam that separates the ones who mean what they say from the ones who just talk about changing their lives. Because Monday doesn't care about your plans, it cares about your proof. Most people treat Monday like a restart button, but it's not. It's a mirror. It reflects exactly what you did with the week before. If you spent it complaining, you'll wake up tired. If you spend it building, you'll wake up ready. Monday doesn't lie, it reveals. It shows who's serious and who's still sleeping with their eyes open. That's why it feels so heavy to some and so electric to others. It's not the day that's different, it's the person. You see, Monday doesn't reward the ones who wait for motivation to hit. It rewards the ones who built momentum while everyone else was resting. That's the real game. The ones who use Sunday to recharge their spirit, not to escape their purpose. The ones who go to bed with clarity, not regret. When Monday arrives, it doesn't surprise them, it obeys them, because they've trained their minds to move before the world does. They understand Monday isn't about time. It's about rhythm. The rhythm of discipline, of focus, of refusing to start over every week because they never stopped in the first place. Monday's the great pretender. It acts ordinary, but it's sacred. It's the gate between who you were and who you're becoming. Most people walk through it half asleep, dragging their doubts like chains, and wonder why nothing changes. But some, the rare few, walk through it like it's a battlefield. They wake up with a grin, not because it's easy, but because they know the world is still theirs to conquer. While everyone else hides behind coffee cups and excuses, they move. They don't talk about getting ready. They just are. Monday is where the dreamers crumble and the doers rise. It's where the talk ends and the truth begins. You can tell a lot about someone by how they treat it. The ones who dread it are prisoners of routine. The ones who respect it are architects of their destiny. Because Monday doesn't start the week, it sets the tone for it. You either walk in dragging the past behind you, or you walk in carrying the lessons that sharpened you. One version complains about what's coming. The other creates what's next. The secret no one wants to admit is that Monday doesn't change you, it exposes you. The same habits, the same fears, the same excuses, all replay in a new costume. You call it a fresh start, but if nothing inside you's changed, it's just the same story with a different page number. The world doesn't reset with the calendar. You do, or you don't. But when you finally start treating Monday like an opportunity instead of an obligation, something strange happens. The dread fades. The heaviness lifts. You start to see it for what it really is, a challenge, a stage, a signal that you're still alive and still in the game. It's not there to punish you for resting. It's there to remind you that time is moving, whether you are or not. And if you learn to move with it, to match its rhythm, it stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like power. Monday isn't the beginning, it's the measurement. It tells you if you've been living with purpose or just passing the days. It's the checkpoint between intention and execution. Everyone has ideas on Saturday. Everyone's inspired on Sunday. But Monday asks, show me. It doesn't want your dreams. It wants your discipline. It doesn't care about your plans. It wants your proof. And that's why Monday feels different when you've made peace with your purpose. You stop seeing it as something to survive and start treating it as something to seize. You stop waking up heavy and start waking up hungry. Because once you realize Monday is the test of who you are. When no one's watching, when the world's barely waking up, it becomes your secret weapon. It's the day you set the tone, break the pattern, prove that you're not just hoping for change, you're becoming it.